All right, and action. I'm honored to be sitting with you.
Thanks.
Yeah. And you are Susan. Can you tell us more about who you are?
Susan Ragland, artist, locker.
Yeah. You are a locker. You are a locker. And an incredible locker at that. I think so. I think you're one of those people in the UMA community who I feel like we offer you something, but maybe the community and the space to express, but you already came knowing how to dance.
Oh well, I came with a passion,
For dance.
for dance. But when I discovered locking, I really locked into it.
But were we, I mean, you didn't have any previous or prior exposure to locking?
You know, so it's so funny because all the people who I've taken locking from are people in your orbit.
Mm-hmm.
The very first locking class I took was Phil, and he was at a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they just said, "Oh, we're gonna have locking," and I was like, "What's that?" I knew what locking was, but I didn't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, and when he started dancing, I was like, "Okay, I'm all in." And then he quit, and then I was, just sort of floating around.
So what was your experience before kind of the formalized instruction on the style? What was your exposure to dance? Did you dance going out, socially, for exercise?
Well, I danced. I was a party here, party there. Miss 1970. I was in the clubs, and I would dance. I did a lot of Latin dance. But I also took dancing. I danced in D.C. with a group, and the members they were all very good dancers. I was not one of the good dancers. I was background. But the front dancers, the lead dancers, went on to Juilliard. They went on to Broadway. They went on to television shows.
So this is like they were classically, studio institutionally trained dancers. Right. So this was in a dance studio.
Right.
That makes sense. But so then, were you at go-go clubs?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't at the go-go clubs. I was at the disco.
The disco. So go-go music wasn't necessarily something.
No, it was happening. I can't remember when it was happening, like 1979, 1980. It was happening, but I wasn't part of that scene.
It didn't like connect with you so much.
I just wasn't part of the scene. I mean, I hear go-go music. I heard it all the time, but I just wasn't part of the scene.
So the disco clubs and that sort of vibe was what called to you.
I was part of the scene, even though I probably shouldn't have been part of the scene. Because I was young, but I was in the disco.
I think all of us, to some extent, can come to a point where we question: was I old enough to be there? I know I have a lot of those. With my partner, I was sharing with her all the places that I've been, that I was exposed to between the ages of 14 and 18, that were basically my older friends who were 5 or more years older, figuring out ways to get me into places I had no business being. So I think that's part of the what is it called? Paving our way. So that's cool. So I mean, so in terms of dance, I mean, when I witness you dance, there's some folks who dance and either rhythm or just kind of an organic sense of holding their bodies in relationship to what's going on with the music. It's like they have to overcome like a hurdle or some sort of boundary. But I don't necessarily experience that with you. And do you think that's because of the type of environments you danced in, during the disco era, or things that or is it just the studio classes? Is it a combination of everything? Is it a combination of things that you've seen? Like what diagnose what makes you the dancer that you are? Like what are all the what has formed? What has come together? What is the recipe that makes
Okay.
Susan Ragland such a good dancer?
Well, let me first say, I do feel like I have to overcome a whole lot of hurdles.
Oh, wow.
There's like a huge hurdle that I have to overcome, which is, at least at this point in my life, I feel like there are two opposing forces moving. And those forces are that as I get deeper into my 60s, I can't move as well. I'm stiffer. I can't jump. I just can't move as well. But at the same time, the more I come to class, my technique gets better. So those two things are working, and I'm constantly fighting. I'm fighting those forces. I'm conscious of those forces. I'm fighting them. But I grew up in the 70s, so I'm drawn to 70s funk. I mean, I think I have a 70s groove because that's how I danced.
Yeah.
Every day of my life.
Yeah.
Because I did dance every day of my life. You know, records in my bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, just learning to be technically skilled at something is hard.
Oh,
it's hard. It's hard.
I mean, for me, I've been telling a lot of UMA community members that for me, there's something about that I'm attracted to about situations where I have the opportunity to unlearn or not be confined by technique. I guess technique is good so that we maybe can become more efficient as movers and less prone to hurting ourselves. And I guess technique can be good to support someone to achieve a certain desired end in terms of aesthetic. You know, with locking, there's a certain technical approach to be able to achieve the shapes, the timing, etc. But there's something maybe attractive to me, which is this kind of disassociated or more organic or non kind of doctrine-based way of dancing that I sometimes feel that I can't tap into, and in a lot of ways the existence of UMA is kind of counter to that for some people who have that purity in how they dance, and that's been something that's been on my mind a lot. And in my classes, I'm often telling people, hey, these are just suggestions and pathways, but try not to get too taken or captured by them, because there's something that you already have, which is valid.
I hear that. I understand that.
But push back. I feel like maybe there's something to push back
Well,
against.
no, there's no pushing back because the only pushing back is that, at least with locking, if you don't, I mean, when I look back at footage of myself, it's easy to go into flailing. Like if you're feeling it and then all of a sudden you just start flailing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to feel it like that. I was trying to feel it more, in a more controlled way. So there's a balance between looking like you're actually locking and then getting so excited that you're flailing.
That inspires a new question, which is, what in a certain respect, coming up as a club head, which I really appreciate that. The club is such an important space for us to cultivate movement and to have community. There's something different that's going on inside that space that almost is boundless. There's no rules, unless a certain collective of people go in and make rules, which has happened, and that's really where a lot of our vernacular traditions come from. It comes from kind of codes that come out of like a group of people that are consistently there. But what is maybe the difference between what drove your dance as a club head to what now drives your dance as more of a kind of technical dancer?
Well, it's probably ultimately the same driver, which is just the freedom of the feeling.
Do you get the freedom differently? Like, is the freedom through your practice and cultivation of locking achieved through, I don't have a better word right now, mastery of a certain technique or control of a certain technique? Or is it just once you got these moves, being able to improvise with them and just kind of, the sky's the limit of what you can do if you know the moves?
I think that could be it. Like, well, I remember when I was young. Uh, I mean, going to parties, it was so ridiculous, and I was like kicking. Like, if you're dancing with me and I'm kicking, that's a little outrageous, right?
I like it though.
Because how you gonna respond?
I think, but that's
Boom.
dope. That's dope. That means you were in it. So that's the thing.
I was in it.
So I think I love that because it's spontaneous. It's raw. It's like this is what the moment is catalyzing you to do.
Right, but then there comes a time, and maybe there was a time, where I was very self-conscious. That I didn't have that freedom. Like, I remember going to college when I went to college, and I didn't know anybody. And there was a party on the patio for new students, and I went and they played "Got Me Working, Working Day and Night," and I just got in the middle, and I just danced with the freedom that at some point I lost. I lost because I had a freedom back then. I didn't care who thought what. I just danced by myself. And, my brother was like, oh my God, what is she doing, right? But then I lost it. But now, at this stage in my life, I've regained it really through urban movement.
Oh, that's good.
And it has a lot to do with Ricky, honestly, because Ricky started that. This is how we dance in a cipher, and I had not, really done that, and I was nervous at first, and then I just felt like Mary Tyler Moore, just spinning around with my hat. I mean, it's not that I look so great every week in the cipher, but there is a freedom of claiming those seconds as yours.
Yeah. So what's happening in the cipher? So because the cipher is an elusive space. I'm always interested to know what everybody individually is doing in that. So often I think we can project onto people what they should be experiencing in the cipher. What is the cipher for you? How do you see other people's experiencing it? What would you suggest or encourage other people to do with the cipher?
Jump in.
Yeah.
Jump in and let it go. And every cipher experience is not like the bomb, because sometimes, I regret not hearing that move and moving that way. But ultimately, I feel like the cipher is one of the most freeing moments I have in life. Being in the middle of the cipher.
That's pretty incredible. How do you deal with all of the various different people watching? Like, what is there? Do you find yourself needing to answer or give attention to what maybe their expectations could be? Or
I think people are clapping for me at this point. This is one of the things that comes with age. People are like, they're like, oh, okay, great, great. She ain't sitting in a chair. She's in the middle of a cipher.
I think you're being modest.
I'm not.
Because I'm aware of how you throw down, and I'm aware. It's official. I'm certain that they're clapping for you for your merit.
We'll never know. But
we gotta ask.
Yeah, we'll never know. But at any rate, it's fun. Like, I have a good time. I have a great time, actually.
That's amazing. So I think you're an enigma, because a lot of people have so much stress when it comes to this cipher.
How do
you put it together to make it so that it's not? Is it something that you grew up with?
No.
Like the kicking?
No.
How do you make it
I
not
was
stressful?
never part of a cipher. I remember, though, because I've taken all of the master teachers at all of the locker, all of the master lockers, and I appreciate all of them. And Drew Drew was the first one who made this circle. And the first I mean, he like pointed at me and said, go. And I was like, in my head, I was like, no. But I said, well, listen, if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to be shy. I'm not going to get out there and, you know, not move. So whether or not I can lock, I'm going to get out there and move. And that was like, once I jumped in, I never jumped out.
I just hope that...
There's a bug on me? Oh.
It's fine.
Okay.
You're going to edit it? You're going to edit that? We're going to show you coming in there. I'm joking.
He's not joking.
He's
not joking.
Keep that one in. Now it's funny. So here's something though. I can sometimes be not a pariah, but like, you know, I like to ask some of the hard questions, you know. What do you make of you know, all of us who are in our 30s, being in 40s, 30s and 40s, and then younger, being obsessed with this dance that we did not live through, this culture and dance, and being the ambassadors in you know, in this city, and then oftentimes it's our age group that is carrying the torch. Is it kind of funny to
love it?
Yeah, is it funny to get it sent, like given back to you?
No, because there's a couple things. Because first of all, when I was coming up and locking was actually happening in real time, there were no classes in locking. You know, there wasn't anybody teaching it. So I actually did mess around, but I wasn't doing it right. You know, because I just wasn't doing it right. And for the younger people who are ambassadors of the art form, I'm actually amazed and I'm in awe that y'all have captured the 70s.
Oh yeah, it's holding on to
like
it.
It's shocking to me. Like one of the things that was like beyond shocking to me was when I first started taking Drew's class, and he would do these warm-ups, and he started doing these warm-ups, and I'm like, my head spun because I was like, wait, I did that when I was 12, and I haven't thought about it since I was 12.
Wow, yeah.
But there he is doing it. How does he know how to do this?
Yeah.
Like, how does he know this? And he just like dragged it out of my historical memory, and it was amazing.
I think that's one of the I mean, it speaks, I mean, there's the information that is out there for us that is reflective of Black American vernacular traditions. It's just out there right now, and there's so many ways to access it. But I do think one of the when reflecting on what the Hoodlockers, how they've come up, and then other peers of mine, it is this kind of passing on the torch. There is this kind of you know, giving it to the next generation. It's not random, you know. It wasn't purchased also, which is also interesting, and something I hope and think that everybody takes pride in. It makes you kind of more a part of it when it was kind of, you know, bestowed upon you by your forebearers,
right?
Which is like, to me, is super cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And keeps and it's really kind of how the thing keeps going. But do you feel that in your art practices, any of that is, you know, you're experiencing that in dance, but do you see that in any, that sort of kind of handing down the torch in other areas that you're involved in creatively?
In like my painting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I deeply admire William H. Johnson's work and Jacob Lawrence's work, and I study it. But now they can't pass me anything, I mean, because they're deceased, but their work can speak to me. I mean, I guess that's the best way I can say it.
What's happening for you? So for someone like yourself who's between dance artistry and visual artistry. Well, first off, what's the best way to distinguish the mediums? Because visual, I sometimes don't know if visual art always encapsulates, because so many things are visual.
I mean, I'm a painter.
You're a painter. Okay, great. So, like the action of painting, your expression in that medium, and your expression as a dancer, where are the similarities and where are the differences?
Inside the painting, I hope that you can see movement. I hope that you can see dance. Actually executing it, I mean, it's, I'm sitting here like this for like hours, just sitting. Like, I'm all stiff. I'm just sitting for hours. So the execution of it, is completely different. But the final product of maybe both, I hope, meld in a way.
But one thing I'm always interested in painters, or any of the kind of the artists that are dealing with materials, is the extension through the body. I don't know if this is actually something that can go on for artists that are dealing more inside digital formats, whether it's film or some sort of program-based design. But I've always been fascinated by the hand of the painter, or the physicality of a sculptor or whatever, or potter. So how does that work for you? Because it is something dancerly and like this,
I mean, I don't see that connection that some other artists might. I don't feel that at all because I'm so still. I mean, I personally, because I sketch and I follow the lines, and I can't see the big picture because I just have to really focus on the lines. And so I'm so still that it's completely different for me than movement.
The movement is more encapsulating. But then it's like that, through that stillness, the end result of all that time spent being still is something very colorful, elaborate, and robust in terms of the expression, the shape.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
But isn't that ironic that it requires you to go through such a practice of
Well, I mean, maybe if I were like a choreographer or something, there may be some similarities, because there is a meditative quality to painting. You have to see it. Well, this is my own process. I have to see it. I have to see it clearly, and then I have to get it out, and then I have to like keep going until it's done. So there's a meditative quality of being super still.
How do you so what is your I mean, this is also a difference in when you dance and you express in real time. You get the feedback from the people who you're dancing with, or maybe there's no real way to really know what's going on with them other than them coming up to you, but there is that kind of real time projection of your creative output, whereas in the painting it's on display and it's going to exist with or without you. I think that's interesting, in your experience as a creative person with that kind of temporality. What do you think about that?
Nope.
That's cool. I think it's great.
Dance, breathe real hard, and go home.
Yeah. See, so the thing is, that's what's so interesting about dance in terms of its position in the world of the arts, because I think it's very easy for all artists are at such low end in terms of the totem pole, like we can always get like overlooked, but there's something so human and immediate about the dance. It's just like you just boogie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but in the sense that it like, and you said it carries on. Look at locking, how it's carried on since the 70s. It's still there. This move is still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there.
That's interesting. That is really interesting. The the language or the aesthetic, the movement. The movement is not necessarily belonging to one body. The movement becomes part of a collective experience that moves through time, that is not bound to time.
Right.
Just blew my mind. And you know what also you saying that really helped me with is, I'm very much a futurist. And I unlike a lot of my collaborators and peers, I not necessarily, this is what really, I don't know if you know this about me, but like I do the whole like traditions thing, but if it were up to me, I'd be like, what are we doing next?
Okay.
But even just what you just described to me, even though I do feel very much like a futurist, and I understand that in terms of being forward looking, it's important to have grounding in what has come before. It's just about how we step away from that or progress from it. I get nervous with like conservatism or the kind of like gripping on the tradition and not being willing to evolve or change. I think that oftentimes can happen inside dance communities. But what you just said about comparing just the collective understanding and the collective experience of a movement passed through time is very powerful and really has given me a new source of appreciation
Good.
for tradition and what it has the power of providing us. So I appreciate that because I like being set like, hey, you didn't think about it this way. I'm like, oh, I didn't. Now I'm humbled. So like, what do you us as dancers, I think tend to really obsess over like people in the dance community, people who past and present, and we find inspiration from one another. You've mentioned two artists that you're inspired by. Is beyond maybe those two individuals who you've studied, is most of your motivation in art interdirected? Like what compels you to return to the canvas each day? Is it to get something out? Is it to communicate something and bring something into the world that isn't already there?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I mean, so it's weird, and maybe you feel the same thing, with choreography. I just get an energy. Like, it's an energy that says, okay, look at this. Oh, let me put it here. So, am I doing it for a, I don't know, more esoteric reason? I don't think so. I think I'm just moving the energy.
I love that. You're moving energy. Isn't that all we have? It's like we have this, blah, like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just, it has to come out in a yell, but it's really fortunate when any of us are able to find a very specific outlet for that energy.
Yeah, it's good.
And I guess that's what the arts are. Music. What kind of music do you listen to?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't really listen to a lot of music when I'm not dancing. I don't sit around listening to music because I like silence or I like talk. I like listening to people talk about stuff. So I don't really listen to music a lot. But when I do, it's gotta have Afro beat. It's gotta be funky. It's gotta have a beat. I don't like, stuff without a beat.
Without a drum and a bass.
Yeah, I have to have a drum.
And probably a bass. Now,
I like trumpets too.
So, how do you ever have any exposures to some of the newer music?
I like Afro beats. I'm into
Afro
yeah,
beats,
I like Afro
music.
beats.
Okay.
I like that music. I like that form of dance. I don't know how to do it, but I like it. I like looking at people do it.
And is there like any, is that the main kind of newer music that you're connected with? Any of the newer R&B or just hasn't connected with you? No like real opinion?
No, because like I heard somebody and I thought it was a singer and I thought, oh, I really like this song. And then I listened to the album, and the lyrics were just so offensive.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's oftentimes what it is.
I just could. I mean, even though I liked the song, I was like, I don't really. I just feel like she could have talked about something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Just was so, you know.
So sometimes I'm just digging for a question or inspiration, and that brings me to something that really, I think, speaks to me. There is something very significant about the ethics or the kind of whatever the values that informed music from the 70s. A lot of it was clean, but even if it had romantic sensibilities, it was more innuendo. It was thoughtful about how, they were expressing certain ideas. And, a dance like locking is inherently a dance that's about jubilee and celebration and making people happy and making people laugh. That's something that's not so much a part of the ethos now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of angst.
There's a lot of angst.
There's a lot of angst. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of, sometimes, I mean, I'm not a prude, and I actually like cussing. But, sometimes the cuss words, they don't have a reason to be. Like, they're not punctuation. They're just words that are filling up space. And it comes out sounding violent, honestly.
Yeah. And for me, now thinking about this more, I mean, I think that's even more value for holding on to dances like locking and them staying alive, is to give us some sort of insight to, it doesn't always have to be full of this angst. And I'm actually curious about the moment where music might find its innocence again. Because not to say that it's not, but like there's a certain type of authentic kind of love, joy, celebration that is like, let's say Earth, Wind and Fire. That's undoubtedly like about love and celebration and joy.
Right, but see, they weren't created in a lab. So some of the new music is not authentic. It's created in a lab. It's created for algorithms, and it's totally different. It came from a different source. So
is that happening to the art world too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't have time to think about it. I have to focus on what I'm doing. So I don't really care. Like if there's art that's popular that's coming from another source, I just don't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
If it takes over, so be it. I'll be just, one of the old crafts people, just kind of doing my thing.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about, so Uma, one of the things that is on the back burner to work, I think it sounds bad if I say it's on the back burner. It means that it's not a priority of mine. It is a priority of mine. I'm just working my way to figure out how to solve this. But Uma is not the most diverse in terms of age representation. What do you think about that?
Oh, I have something. Actually, you came really close in your recital to this, but there was another piece that wasn't there. I saw something out of London where there was a show that was put on, and it was multi-generational, but it wasn't, the people in it could dance, like they weren't like, just like total beginners, but there were kids, there were adults, there were young teens, there were old people, and they put on a show, like a dance show, and it was pretty great. And I did see them do the locker like greeting in it. I was like, what? But it came out of London, and so the recital is the closest thing to that, because you did have multi-generations in the recital, but no kids.
Oh, the most recent recital? We had one group of kids.
No, but kids, teens, adults.
Oh, yeah.
All together in a show, like a performance, and it was interesting to me because most of the time you never have those groups together. Like they're always segregated.
I think they only come together in the communal, like let's just say in the street dance community. They will come together in events, battles, mostly in places like Europe, or even breaking battles in the States. You see, all generations are together, but seldom in kind of commercial environments like ours. But that's something I would like to address. And I also, one of the things that I mean, maybe this is something that you're open to talking about, but, what is it like coming to class with a bunch of kids that are not your age, or like, how do you, is that
No.
like, do you feel like it's sometimes you just want to like,
No,
or
no. This is what I feel though. I feel great. Like I really do feel I feel good being in the community, and I feel like I was describing it to somebody like this. I said I went to this dance class. I went to this dance class and gym, and everybody had on Lululemon leggings and a black little Lululemon like tank top. And I went to Yuma and everybody had on their old t-shirt they had for 15 years. And I was like, and everybody was different. I was like,
that's the spot.
That was where I needed to be, because there wasn't a uniform, there wasn't a set way.
There's a lot of individuals at Uma,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. And to be honest, I want to get more. I think more people should be dancing, and it shouldn't be something that is relegated to, folks who are in their 20s and 30s. So just trying to figure out what that is. And I think what I admire about you is that's not a barrier to you.
No, I don't care.
And the funny thing is this, it's like, I think it's interesting how there's me working with youth. It's like there's a certain point where certain young people don't want to be with the ones that are a little bit younger. I do view the Uma, for the most part, I hope the environment and community that has been cultivated is one that is embracing of everyone. I hope the teachers approach things in a way that is embracing of everyone.
I think they do. I don't know why people, like, a lot of the old dancers I know, they don't dance anymore. They just don't. I don't know why. But for me,
it's not you. And I think that the thing at the end of the day is the spirit, the physical outlet. I mean, spiritual and physical. What dance does. Like, for instance, I had a major injury. Dance is what I've used to heal myself.
I know, and I'm like, I marvel at you all the time.
It's how
I really do.
It's really part of the healing process. It's like learning how to dance is to me was synonymous with walking. It's just like, I want that mobility. How can I get that kind of flexibility in the body? And it really has been kind of the medium for finding range of motion, for finding security. And I think that's something that's not often understood about the dance, is that it's so many, it provides such good nourishment.
It does. I think, like I know when I take exercise classes, like not dance classes, but like other kinds, I would like to move slower. I would like to move more slowly. And there ain't no slow movement at Yuma. I mean, everything is, and I think maybe some older people might say, I need it to be slower. But I mean, what I've decided, and I've only really decided this recently, is there's certain things I just can't do.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love the Witch Away, I cannot do the Witch Away. I can't do the Witch Away.
But I love how you put that boundary up. But that's something really profound about your character, because there's people who are 25 who shouldn't be doing the Witch Way.
Well, if I do the Witch Way, I'm gonna just tell you, if I do the Witch Way,
names.
if I do the Witch Way, I cannot move the next morning.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't want that. So
and possibly they can't either. Like I'm telling you, there's something so interesting about like the ego to me when folks come to class and it's just clearly there are physical boundaries, and they just try to like hammerhead their way through to no avail.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
And you know, and maybe even to detriment. And I think there's something. I think, you know, that's something I would like people to have license and agency to choose for themselves. That not all of the movements you have to do.
I mean, I just alter it.
Mm-hmm.
I just do a little version of it.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible that you know, you have that insight and that resourcefulness. So I have two last questions.
Okay.
One question is, if you were to send a message to participants at UMA, you know, for what any type of message, what would that message be? And then, I actually have three. Let's start with that one. What would that message be? To anybody at UMA, what do you want them
Come to locking, because locking is fun. Locking is fun. F-U-N.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. Marcus is crazy, but in a good way. He's like a whirlwind. Ricky is amazing. He breaks stuff down. You can kind of learn how to do it. It's just fun. We have good time.
And hopefully we see more of Drew again, and even
Well,
have you taken class with Josh?
No.
Okay.
Who is that? I need to take his class.
Andy Locke? Josh?
No. Is he at Yuba?
No, he's a central figure in the Hood Lockers. We'll have to figure out.
Okay, I need to make that happen.
Okay.
I would like to take Drew again.
Mm.
I miss you, Drew. I would like to take Drew again. I want to take everybody because I have no time to waste.
Yeah. Okay.
I have no time to waste. I live with an urgency
Mm-hmm. That's great.
of accomplishment and joy on a daily basis.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, that's a good message to send out to the UMA folks too. Come to locking class and then also live with the urgency
I
for
do.
joy
I have
and
it.
accomplishment and achievement in life. I love that too. I think I can relate to that. What message do you want to give to me or whatever ghost resides within the machine of UMA? You know?
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
For real, because I just found a place that brings me such immense joy.
Oh, I'm glad.
Really,
I'm glad.
true.
If the ghost in the machine could hear you.
Josh, I want
Oh,
Josh.
all right. So we gotta get. All right. So, all right. Yes, peasy.
Oh, I know
Easy.
what that goes. Okay, I want a mirror.
Okay, in Studio B.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I want a mirror.
Now the ghost is gonna push back.
Yeah, I want a
Say
mirror.
no.
And I would love, Marcus might not agree, I would love his class to be earlier.
Oh, early.
Yeah, it's so late at 8 o'clock at night. But I'm going. I'm going
Figure that
tonight.
out.
I'm going
That probably can be figured out more than the mirror.
Okay, good enough.
I'm being stubborn about that mirror.
Well, why
You
can't
wanna
we
what?
move
You-
to the...
Well, we gotta get more people, more lockers. We need more lockers. to
More
be able to
lockers,
get into a
y'all.
big room. This is why I don't always. I try to maintain at least one room without mirrors. Is because I think you have the ability to utilize a mirror in a way that is a tool and a way that you expand yourself. I think some people need to learn without the mirror so that they learn their bodies.
Okay.
That's like kind of like a pedagogical reason for
But not me.
not you. So to get Susan into a room with a mirror, we need more lockers. We
More
need
lockers.
we need
More locking.
lockers. We need
More
locking to take
locking.
over. I think it can happen. You know, there's a lot. Here's the thing. There's a cousins are locking and whacking.
Yeah, I
And
haven't
there's a
done
lot-
whacking
There's a
though.
lot of people who have gravitated towards whacking, and I think it might be because of the more feminine forces, the more, you know, I don't know. I mean, locking is very much like a male kind of, whereas I don't know. That's my hypothesis, but I don't know. but I think there is an attentiveness to funk, soulfulness that is growing, groove that is growing at UMA, which I think the growth of the whacking community is of service to the locking community. So
good,
I think it
good.
can grow. All right, my last question is what are you interested in seeing and discovering and producing for yourself in your dance journey?
Hey, I'm just hanging on. I'm just trying to hang in there.
Come on now, there's more than that.
Seriously.
Come on.
No, I want to get better. You know what I would love? I would love, like when I dance, if people have never seen me dance before, they go, she has studied locking. That's what I want people to say.
That's what I say. That's what I see. Because, like, come on now. There's some people who are trying to get the shapes and trying to make it look authentic. Like, you are doing that. For instance, when you lock, my experience of you locking is like you came back to this.
Oh,
like, for
wow,
instance,
wow.
like this wasn't just something that we showed you. It's like, oh, you had this, and we're just ushering you along, supporting you with more of it in your life. It does.
You showed me. You showed me.
All right. Well, then that means your achievement in terms of the process of learning is just.
Well, I want to get better. I mean, I used to be. I never missed. I don't care who wouldn't show up. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Only recently I've had a lot of art stuff I had to do, so I can't always show up. But if I mean, unless something major is happening, I'm in the class. I'm the steady rock.
The anchor.
The rock steady.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you for doing the rock.
I'm the rock steady.
We appreciate you for rocking steady.
Thank you.
And we're gonna keep on doing it. And you really bring so much spirit and soul and inspiration. And your support is greatly felt. You really make a difference.
Thank you
for us. So
thank you,
everybody. Susan Ragland.